Welcome, baseball family, to our Thursday night live episode of the Baseball Together podcast. My name is Brad, and I'm here with my guy Brig. How are you today, Brig? You're welcome back, by the way.
We have power
Huzzah!
and internet, and that is
Glad you
not.
survived.
Yeah, well, and there are. Let me just put out a disclaimer. There are a number of people who are still suffering big time, and I hate to put a damper on it, but there are thousands and thousands of people in homes without power. There are people that have remain unaccounted for and missing. There's an underrepresentation of reporting on the issue going on in Asheville and the Western North Carolina, all of Western North Carolina right now. Like, it is an unbelievable gap in information between those of us who are close enough to go, yeah, I have people there, or I've driven up and seen it, versus what I think the rest of the world and the nation is getting on the news. I think it's a huge difference.
Yeah, I believe
Well, I'm
it.
grateful.
Yeah, we're glad that you're safe, that you guys were able to kind of ride it out.
That's
So,
pretty much what we did. It was a big pain in the butt, and I'm not going to gripe much more than that because, we're not, I never felt like we were in danger, but it was stressful. Anyway, there's a lot of people way worse off than we ended up being, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you made it. We're glad you're here. The playoffs are here as well. Currently going on Game 3 of the Wild Card Series between the Brewers and the Mets. We'll get there in a little bit. We're going to wrap up first the other Wild Card Series because some of those were pretty crazy.
Well, and it looks like the Mets brought the bed, so they might just get to before we get there. We might get a whiff of what's going on here. So
I think you're exactly right. So first, let's start with the Tigers and the Astros. So the Tigers. So for those of you who don't know, every series except the ones going on right now was swept. The Mets and the Brewers are the only one that was not swept. So the Tigers, to everyone's surprise, swept the Astros. And I don't know if I should say to everyone's surprise, Brick. I mean, obviously to mine. I had the Astros in 3.
Yeah, I originally had the Astros in 3 as well, but it definitely didn't go that way.
Right, because my thing was like, Game 2 sounds like they're going with a bullpen day. You kind of just flush that day, right?
Yeah,
unless you're the Tigers,
right? Because they were like, we're gonna do skoo ball, and then we're gonna play chaos pitching between now and like whatever else happens. And I thought, okay, we'll see what that turns into. Well, it turned into a victory dance.
It really did. So Game 1, the Tigers won 3-1. They did all their scoring in 1 inning off of, I think it was back-to-back singles. Just racked them right up against Framber Valdez. Tarek Skubal, like you said, he came out and he showed up and he dominated. Pitched 6 strong innings, gave up 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, and a walk against a team that does not strike out very often.
Correct.
And Jason and I talked on the big show this week about how a lot of times it feels like the Astros are super efficient. Once they get on base, they're going to bring them around, and they just couldn't.
Yeah.
I think they got a solo home run in that game was all, and that was the end of it. So,
well, it's the end of a lot of things.
It is. But so this is the thing that I thought was interesting was Detroit kind of stuck to the formula with how to get to Framber Valdez. They got to him early. He only lasted 4 1/3, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. All 3 of those runs were scored in the 2nd inning.
Yep.
You have to
keep pitch count up.
Get that pitch count up. Get him uncomfortable early, and that's how you get to him. Because if he gets in the groove early on, you are done. You're not doing anything against Valdez. So
100%.
They went out there hacking, and they got it done. So they took Game 1, and then Game 2 was wild and crazy. The Tigers won this one 5-2, but I don't feel like it was that close. Or I feel like it was much closer than that.
It felt way closer than that. That does not feel like an accurate representation.
No. So the Tigers scored 4 runs in the 8th inning to overcome a 2-1 deficit. Andy Ibanez comes in as a pinch hitter for Zach McKinstry, which I was actually surprised that was a thing that happened with the bases loaded.
Sure. Yeah, right.
And he rips a bases loaded. I think they gave him a double, and then he advanced to third on the throw home.
Yeah.
But either way, he cleared the bases, and it was enough to get the job done. And this was a really interesting thing. Was the Presley Hader combo in Game 2 gave up 5 hits, 3 walks, 4 runs, only struck out 2. Presley was given the blown save and loss.
Whoa.
So it was supposed to be there. They're supposed to be shortening games to 8 innings to 7 innings with those two, and they did a good job for most of the season, except for when it came down to it. So, Brig, what are some of your thoughts and takeaways from this series, do you think, from both teams, really?
Well, I thought that the Astros just got fundamentally beaten. I think that the Tigers played small ball, did it better than the Astros did. They moved the needle over and over and over. It was a relentless push of fundamentals, and it won out. It's as simple as that. The defense was aggressive. They played hard. There were a number of plays in the outfield that I thought, no way he's going to get that, or there's no way. And then he reached out and grabbed it, and it was all over. The Meadows did it a few times. It was all over the place. I thought this is a team that is taking nothing for granted, that knows how lucky they are to be there, that is honestly maybe, I don't want to say stupid, but like it almost feels like they don't have a clue what they've
Blissfully
gotten
ignorant.
themselves into. Yeah, yeah, and they're like, woohoo, and that's carrying them, and it's working. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like we talk about all the time, well, they don't have a whole lot of playoff experience. Like, no, they don't. But is it almost better to not? So then you don't really know what you're getting into.
At
Right?
this point,
It's
that's the
kind of
story
the
of the
two-edged
Tiger.
sword.
Yeah, I
It's
think
that
that's where
two-edged
they're winning
sword.
on this one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it a lot. Parker Meadows is something else, by the way,
For
because I
real.
feel like part of their turnaround came after he came off the IL, and
Yeah.
he's been a revelation. He's been outstanding. He covers a ton of ground out there in center field. He's a great hitter. I am becoming a Parker Meadows fan.
Me too.
So,
well, and Torkelson was no slouch. Especially in Game 2. I feel like defensively and offensively, but defensively, he's an impressive
defensively, I think he saved a lot of runs. He made some really great plays over at first base. Okay, let's move on to the Royals over the Orioles. Another one I don't think any of us saw coming. Whoa. Again, another sweep, but this was a grind. This was a grind. Yeah. Game 1, the Royals won 1-0. Corbin Burns went out there for the Orioles and pitched a gem. 8 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. That's a dub, right?
You can't argue with that. How is that anything but a slam dunk outing?
I know.
It makes it makes no sense.
Hey, and Orioles fans. Orioles fans, welcome to life as a Mariners fan, by the way. Yeah. Your ace goes out there and tosses a gem, and you still lose. That's what it was like all season long.
Twitch Taylor's with us. What's up, Twitch Taylor? I'm glad you're here. All right, we're back on Twitch right now, and welcome. I had to check. I was like, who is that? Yep, got to be Twitch Taylor. All right, so here's the thing. These games were exhausting to watch. There were flashes of awesome. There were moments of excitement and brilliance. And again, like you said, with Burns, his first outing was just masterclass. But honestly, the rest of it was like scraping your face against a brick wall, and all of the hopes and dreams just died, and then they rose, and then they died. And I was like, what kind of freaking seesaw are we on right now? And it was set up and let down the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
For both teams, on both sides.
Right. I know it. So the only run of that game was scored. So it was a walk, a stolen base, and then a single to left field.
Yep.
That's how the Royals scored that only run. Game 2, the Royals won 2-1. They drove in both runs on a single. Spoilers, they had 1 extra base hit between the 2 games. Just one. So, okay, this Jason and I talked about this on the Big Show this week. This offense has just fallen off a cliff. And 1 extra base hit over 2 games, 3 runs over 2 games is not going to cut it against the Yankees. We'll get there in a little bit, but if I'm a Royals fan, I'm terrified right now. Your pitching is really, obviously, really, really good.
It's working. Yeah.
I'm so
But
scared.
listen, Baltimore's offense also just dried up and blew away. It was bizarre. Like, I know the pitching was good. Like, it was really, really good out of Kansas City. But you expect way more offensively out of Baltimore, and it was just not there. It was just not there.
Right. Nothing at all.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, especially like when they were threatening, there were no timely hits.
Nope. Nobody was clutch.
Their only run was scored off of a Cedric Mullins home run.
Yep. You cannot win playoff baseball relying on the long ball. You can't do it. I'm a Yankees fan. I know that you can't do it. We'll get there. Go ahead.
We will get there. Okay, so that's that series, that other wild card series in the American League. Let's move over to the National League. Let's talk Padres and Braves. Another sweep. So the Padres won game 1, 4-0. Michael King went out there and just pitched his guts out. It was amazing. 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits, 12 strikeouts.
Oh my
no
God.
walks.
Fernando
amazing. Tatis gets up there in the first inning and homers. They said that it was his first playoff game with fans in attendance, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to go yard on that first at bat, right? And then Kyle Higashioka goes out there and hits a home run late in the game. And did you see what he got the next day?
No, what he get?
He got Tom DeLonge threw out the first pitch for game 1 of Blink-182. For those of you who don't know, my favorite country band. Exactly. and so since he was at the game, he loved that Higgy home run. And so the next day, Higgy comes into the clubhouse, and Tom DeLonge gave him the guitar he used to shoot All the Small Things video.
You're kidding.
I am not kidding.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's all over the Padres social media. I'll send it to you later. It's awesome. Okay. It's super cool.
That's cool. Like, let me just go ahead and jazz on Higgy for a minute, because I have been singing his praises for years. I'm still upset he's not in pinstripes. Like, I know they wear pinstripes in San Diego, but when I say pinstripes, I mean the royal pinstripes. Okay. So yeah, basically, I'm still upset that he doesn't still play for the Yankees. I understand that we're in a good spot right now, but I think that much of him. I always have, especially defensively. But you get a Higgy bomb every once in a while, and everything, it's like just such a joy. It's such an unexpected just nugget from heaven or something. You're just like,
it is unexpected. Didn't he have like the lowest OPS a couple years ago out of all qualified hitters?
Yeah, especially all qualified catchers.
Yeah, he's come a long way. He's become. I think he's a good everyday player for the Padres. I like that they have him there.
But defensively, that dude is legit.
The Mets just took the lead on a Pete Alonso home run. Look who showed up.
Holy buckets.
Holy cow. 3-run home run. Wow.
Oh my. Let me change my graphic.
The top of the 9th.
3-2. Here we are.
Just like that. That ball snuck over, too. I didn't think it was going to make it. I thought it was going to get caught at the wall.
And the polar bear.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I think was interesting about that first game. Yes, the Braves struck out 12 times just by Michael King's hand alone. They struck out 15 times total. There is some talk about, they played a doubleheader the day before. Like, if you had taken care of business, you wouldn't have had to. This is the way it works.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? And yes, it is unfortunate, and it sucks that they had to have those games pushed. Right?
Yeah. But the Mets also had to play a doubleheader the day before, and they have extended their series. Yes. So I don't want to hear it. Exactly. Also, let's be honest that the Braves have been limping into this postseason experience since like June. Okay. So the fact that they made it at all is fabulous. You want to talk about them expected to be in the playoffs since the All-Star break? I don't think so. So the fact that anybody is disappointed by their immediate departure is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You're living in La La Land, okay?
Right. If I'm a Braves fan, I'm happy that they were there at all.
100%.
That's it. Yeah.
100%.
So game 2, the Padres won that one 5-4. Max Fried got lit up early. He lasted 2 innings, gave up 5 runs all in the second, 8 hits, 2 strikeouts is all. No walks though. The Braves, through the course of the entire game, had 6 hits. Michael Harris II had 3 of them.
Yeah.
A single, a double, a home run, 2 RBI, and 2 runs.
That dude. Like, he's so
He's like
solid,
the
man.
only guy on that roster who was healthy. So
I know.
just can't do it by
But
himself.
to his credit, not only was he the only healthy guy, like, he knew he was the only one, stepped up, did his job, did everything he could to carry it and take care of business. Like,
Yep.
that's a testament. Listen, and getting into the playoffs when you really shouldn't have is a testament to the entire organization's capabilities. So everybody calm down. Nobody's coming after the Braves or the Braves fans. We get it. It's awesome. It's all unfortunate. It's also, this is what you can expect. It's fine.
I've been saying for a while, I kept thinking that they're going to run out of gas because of all the injuries. I think they overachieved by making it at all.
100%. Yep.
So.
Glorified spoiler for the D-backs. That's all this was.
Yes. So real quick, Joe Musgrove, he gave up a run in the first, and he was dealing after that. He got taken out in the fourth with elbow discomfort. They said they're going to test his elbow today, so who knows what's going to happen with him going forward. I'm sure we'll have news on that for the big show next week. But man, what do you think about the Padres going forward, though, even potentially without Joe Musgrove?
Nah, I'll tell you. You want my picks now, or do you want to get them at the end of the show?
We'll get him. Let's get him at the end. But okay. I think they're good. Yeah. Not worried at all. Yeah.
Would be great to have Java Joe in there the whole time. Absolutely. Worried? No.
Right. Yep. Let's talk about the Brewers and Mets so far. This game is like I said, top of the ninth. There are 2 outs. There was 1 out when that home run was hit. Mets are up 3-2. But let's talk about game 1 for a minute. The Mets won that one 8-4. There were 4 lead changes by the middle of the 5th inning.
Bananas.
And that's just the way the series has gone ever since.
It's exciting.
It's absolutely bananas. Game 2, late. We had people commenting on our TikTok because we posted a clip about Jason and I talking about how we wanted the Brewers and the Phillies to play. A bunch of Phillies fans were in the comments like, "Well, it looks like it's going to be the stinking Mets. The Mets are going to beat the beat the Brewers." Or Brewers fans are commenting probably. And then Jackson Churio ties it up twice. Once was in the first inning, the other time was in the 8th inning, and then you get another home run late.
So awesome. And he's like 20 years old, like 4. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I love it. Huge fan. So in those first 2 games, actually, Jackson Churio went 4 for 8 with 2 home runs, 3 RBI, 1 strikeout was all. I think that he has arrived. And so far today, I think he's 1 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base. He's playing really well. Pete Alonso up to that home run, though, had not been. 1 for 5 in games 1 and 2. 3 walks and 1 strikeout, but man, I want to see what the Brewers do in the bottom of the 9th because
me too.
Jesse Winker just stole second base. Holy cow!
Oh, okay.
We might be able to filibuster until the end of this game. I don't know if we're gonna have that much time, but we'll
have
see.
To.
Okay, let's move on to the division series real quick, Brig. Let's talk about the division series.
Okay.
Let's do some previews. Okay, so your first ALDS series, the Yankees versus the Royals. The Yankees, we talked about this a little bit on the big show this week, but let's recap some. Record of 94-68, 44-37 at home, 50-31 on the road. 55-38 against teams over 500. Second half record of 36-28. Not great coming into the playoffs. 100%. But they were able to maintain a run differential of plus 147.
Yeah. There's that long ball.
Yeah, it is the long ball. And played the Royals to a 5-2 record this season.
Yep. Don't worry about that. That's not important right now.
No, it's not. Because when did they play him? Did they play him earlier, or was it later in the year?
100 years ago. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I was looking at when I was looking at these. Like, man, I should have looked, and I forgot to today. Because it makes a difference when you play teams, right?
Totally makes a huge difference.
So, offensive stats since the break, though. Team batting average of 250, OPS of 772, 97 home runs. That's just since the break.
I know. There's the long ball again. Just wait. Just you wait, Henry Higgins.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
Team WRC plus. I love this stat of 119. Again, league average is always at 100 for that, so they're 19% better than the league average. Team walk rate is 11.3%. That's pretty dang good. I wouldn't expect that from the Yankees.
I know.
And the K rate at
Really good.
21.5%. Here's the number that I think is going to make a big difference, make a big deal in the playoffs. Is they only stole 50 bases in the second half. They don't steal a lot of bases.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially when you look at the 54 that Kansas City stole. Even though they're really similar, I think Kansas City is known for stolen base attempts being significantly higher than that of the Yankees. Here's the stat that takes the cake for me. Ready? If the Yankees find a way to blow it at all this postseason, let's say it's the DS, let's say they make it the championship series, whatever, it's going to be because of the left on base statistic. They leave guys on base more than there are grains of sand in the sea. It's just insane. You get a guy, and I'm not even talking about in scoring position, just on base at all. The Yankees are notorious for leaving guys on base. It is embarrassing, is what it is. If they lose in the playoffs, if they lose a game, it will be because they failed to capitalize on guys who are on base and in scoring position. That's why. That's the only reason why.
The reason.
Or if Gleyber Torres decides to loaf in defense. There's that. Those are the two reasons.
That is a thing. It's a legitimate concern. You're right.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's look at that defense for a little bit though, because it's interesting. Team ERA 4.06, giving up 1.15 home runs per 9. That's a little high compared to everybody else in the playoffs.
It is.
3.3 walks per 9. That's pretty high, and a batting average against at 242. That's quite a bit too. Saves 18, blown saves 9.
Yep.
And that's I think a lot of the second half was Aaron Boone trying to figure out the closer situation, because it was not Clay Holmes anymore.
No, and it's never going to be, and it shouldn't have been for a lot longer than they tried to let it be. Honestly,
yeah.
And let's just all take a minute and remember that Michael King was a Yankee not that long ago. Okay, thank you very much.
He was.
So, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Oh. Bro, don't let the saves and blown saves deter you from being excited to watch the Yankees play baseball, even late in games. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine. Okay, the bullpen is fine. I'm worried about Nestor Cortez. That's not good. That's not a good situation. I'm worried about.
Is he even playing? He's hurt, right?
I know, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm not worried about the closer situation anymore. Not. So where I was very, very, very confident in every situation in the starting rotation, unless Garrett Cole was going to pitch a day game, that's the worst situation in the history of situations. Should that not happen, and it very likely won't given the postseason now, I was confident in the starting rotation. I'm a little less confident in the starting rotation, and now I was worried about the closer. I'm not anymore. Oh, how things change.
Not anymore. Okay.
Yep. But that WRC plus is bangerang. And the K rate,
that's a good number.
Pretty good. It's pretty low.
Yeah. It is, and it's shocking given the number of sluggers on that team. Okay, let's talk about the Royals. 86 and 76. That's now the worst. Well, actually, no, they're tied with Detroit for the worst record in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Last year we saw the Diamondbacks, who had the worst record in the playoffs, get to the World Series. And didn't the Phillies have the worst record a couple of years ago in the playoffs and get to the World Series? So,
enough. I have a thing about
nothing.
It means nothing. I have a thing about that in a minute. Keep going.
Okay. Home record 45 and 36, road record 41 and 40. Not good on the road for those of you keeping track. No, 45 and 54 against teams over 500, but they got the job done. So let's throw that number out. We won't worry about that number because they got the job done against the Orioles. Second half record of 34 and 31. They really tapered off in the second half. We're not the same team as they were in the first half.
Neither were the Yankees.
Differential plus 91. I don't know. They're going to have to find that offense if they're going to have a shot, because scoring 3 runs in 2 games isn't going to cut it against this Yankees team. I don't care how good your pitching is. 3 runs in 2 games will not cut it.
Not in the boogie.
You're not going to shut this team out. No chance. Toilet pants.
No chance. Toilet pants. Yeah.
Just a couple of cherry pick numbers. The one thing that stood out. Well,
go ahead.
Hold on, real quick. A couple of numbers that stood out to me was that the Royals in the second half had a WRC plus of 95. Like that offense is still just, they've been this way for a couple months now. But the pitching, 3.69 ERA, 0.88 home runs per nine, 8.61 strikeouts per nine, 2.78 walks per nine, 234 average allowed, 17 saves, still 11 blown saves. But hey,
we got stuff.
Apparently that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's fine. The thing is, the Kansas City's pitching is terrific. Like it just is. And
it's a stark difference of what it was last year. Last year was like, okay, they've got a pretty good offense. They're hitting the ball better than just about anybody, but they cannot keep a lead because the pitching is horrendous. Somehow things have switched, and it was at the All-Star break. Things switched.
Right. It was not that long ago. Totally.
Yeah.
Also, the Mets just took the lead 4-2.
Yes, they did. Jesse Winker scored after that stolen base.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'll tell you my picks later, but the Yankees, I like what I see against. I mean, it would have been okay facing Baltimore, but it's okay facing the Royals too. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Very good. Okay, let's go on.
I'm worried about that break, though. Detroit. I'm worried about the bye week.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting case study to keep track of that this year versus last year. And I guess the year before, too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Why don't you run down Cleveland versus Detroit for us, Brig?
All right. Cleveland's baseball club, record of 92-69. They did not play game 162. It got canceled. Home. They're 50-30 on the home. At home, 42-39 on the road. They are 3 games better than not against teams over 500. 34-32 second half, plus 87 run differential. Wah wah wee wah. They played Detroit like 13 times, 7 wins, 6 losses overall. They're 5-5 in their last 10 coming into the postseason. Offense, team batting average, this surprises me, 230. Slugging, 381. And OPS is 676. They're boasting 76 total home runs on the season. Their WRC plus falls 7 points below average at 93, Brad. 93. Now we've got the 7.5 walk percentage, 20.9, almost 21% K rate, and they've stolen 69 bases as a team. But pitching, things kind of they flip over the other way while remaining oddly marginal, right? Like these are mediocre numbers. You got 3.45 ERA across the entire pitching staff. Home runs per 9, 1.07. Ks per 9, 8.71. Walks per 9, 3.01. Batting average against, 223. Left on base, 74.9%. It's 19 saves, 14 blown, or 4 blown. Now, here's the
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead to the last one. Then I have some thoughts.
Here's my thing, okay? According to ESPN, this is so awesome. The Tigers are the 4th team in history to win a playoff series after being 10-plus games behind of a playoff spot at least 110 games into the season. They now join the 2011 Cardinals, the 69 Mets, and the 64 Cardinals. All 3 of those teams went on to win the World Series.
That's pretty good.
Figure that out. That's pretty good.
I have some thoughts about Cleveland. They were 34-32 in the second half. Yeah, 34. So they were outstanding in the first half. They were so good offensively. They still in the second half they don't strike out a ton, but they weren't walking as much as it felt like they were in the first half of the season. Game over. Mets win.
Oh boy, let me update the graphic.
But they were just like so average in the second half, and their record showed it. The numbers show it, and I don't know if they're going to have what it takes to beat the Tigers.
I think this is where the bye week case study will become really important, like really important, because it'll either have given them the break they needed to rest and reset and recoup, or it will prove disastrous. I don't think we'll see it. I think it's going to be black and white. I think either the Tigers are going to ride the momentum, and the Cleveland's baseball club won't come to town. They won't have it, or it's exactly what they needed. And there's no way to measure for that. It's going to be an eye test. I know that. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. So I think ESPN is wrong on that stat, actually.
Oh, I love when ESPN is wrong. Send it.
So the Mariners in 1995 on August 25th, they were 56 and 55. What's that?
Okay.
That's 111 games, yeah?
Yeah.
How about this? The day before at 55 and 55, they were 11 and a half back. And they made the playoffs.
Ooh.
But they did not
And they did
obviously
not
make the World
advance
Series.
to the World Series. Right.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know.
Way to go, ESPN. You got Bradified again.
So I just thought, because I saw that initially, I was like, that can't be right. And I never bothered to look until just now. I'm sitting here doing it. So anyway,
I love it.
but no, I
Don't
still
worry, we'll
honestly
set
I
the
like
record
the
straight.
Tigers because I think they've got the momentum.
Yeah.
Like you said, it will be an interesting case study with Cleveland with the bye week because we're going to want to see if they address the problems in the room, right?
Yeah.
It's not like football where you can be like, "Hey, secondary is not shifting. Safety, you need to play shit. You need to cheat this way, right? The cover two shell, whatever, blah blah blah." I don't know what I'm talking about, Brig.
Get
But
out of here, Brad.
in
You don't know what you're
baseball,
talking about.
you take those couple days, rest up, rest your arm pitchers, right? So,
And your
I don't know.
armpits is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go over to the NLDS. Dodgers and Padres. This is one of the ones we were wanting. These, I think we didn't
This
get.
is awesome.
I really wanted the Brewers and the Phillies, but we're gonna get the Mets and the Phillies. We'll get there in just a minute. But let's talk about the Dodgers and Padres. This one I feel like is what America wants. Brick.
Yeah, everybody wants this.
Yeah. So the Dodgers, best record in baseball, 98 and 64. Home record of 52 and 29. Road record 46 and 35. 51 and 41 against teams over 500. 42 and 23 since the break. Very, very good despite the problems. Plus 156 run differential. 5 and 8 record though against the Padres on the season.
That is fabulous and fascinating.
It is fabulous. I will say this though, that when the Dodgers needed to beat the Padres to hold first place, they did it. Because the Dodgers, don't forget, in September, the Dodgers were up 3 games, played a 3-game set against the Padres, and they ended up winning the series.
Yep.
So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. The offensive stats for me don't really mean a whole lot for the Dodgers because their video game numbers, 104 home runs since the break, WRC plus of 123. That tells the whole story right there. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about the offense in the second half of the season. The pitching though, 4.16 team ERA, 1.32 home runs per 9, almost 9 Ks per 9, a little above 3 walks per 9. 22 saves, 12 blown saves. And the 12 blown saves, don't look at that as oh man, that was 12 opportunities where they could have won and they lost. No, a blown save can happen. You can get a blown save and a save in the same game.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is super weird and confusing.
It is. It is. You can have a pitcher give up a lead in the 9th and then anyway, I guess
I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe
listen, it's confusing.
It would be a win.
It doesn't tell the whole story. Okay.
It doesn't tell the whole story.
Now, the Padres, 93 and 69 in the season, they are better at home, obviously, but they're also very capable away. We've got 45 and 36 at home, 48 and 33 on the road, which is good because they're going to be on the road a little bit this time. And they're going to Chavez Ravine. 50 and 44 versus teams over 500, which is good because they're going to play a team over 500. So that's really nice. Second half, 43 and 20, also really good because this is the second half. Run differential.
One of the better records. One of the best records in the second half, by the way.
It is. And they are electric. I have watched a little bit of Padres baseball this season. I've watched a lot of Padres baseball last couple of days. OMG, which is code for baseball family. They are really good at this. Okay. Plus 91 run differential. Okay. They crushed this wild card. It was not even a question. They 8-5 against Los Angeles, which is what Brad said earlier. So good. I'm just going to look. We don't have time to get into all these stats. Let me just break down a couple of them. Okay. 3.38 ERA across the pitching staff, 1.15 whip. That's pretty good. All right.
These next ones are even better. Go to home runs per 9, Ks per 9. Those are great numbers, Brig.
That's where I'm at. Home runs per 9, 0.89 across the pitching staff. Ks per 9, 9.31. You throw Michael King in there when he's hopping and popping like he was the other day. Look out. You got to be Shohei Ohtani to be just as good against that. Walks per 9, 2.83. They don't even give up 3 walks per 9. That is nuts. That is nuts. Team's batting average against this pitching staff, Padres pitching staff, 221. Man, the only way I'm coming off this high horse with San Diego is if LA beats them, because otherwise they're pumping all the way to the World Series. You just wait.
I think so too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this is the thing is don't ever forget, do not ever forget that in the elimination game last year in the playoffs, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman combined for 0 for 8.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't know by now that the Dodgers have a bit of the yips when it comes to playoff baseball, you ought to go back and do a history lesson, because this is a pretty consistent situation we see here with the
and you don't have to go back far either. Just the last 5, 6, 7 years.
5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, they won in 2020, exactly. But that's the thing is everybody's like, well, yeah, but it was the bubble. It was 60-game season. Sure. They didn't have the wear and tear of normal. And granted, nobody else did either, but it's a whole lot easier to be the best team for 60 games plus playoffs than it is 162 games plus playoffs.
It's a little different. Let's just be honest. So I think this is going to be a very exciting series, and I am excited. So now the Phillies are going to face the Mets. The Phillies are going to face the Mets, and I wish I could update the graphic live, but I can't. So just go ahead and look. I cut it in half right there over there for those of you that are wondering. We know the Phillies are going to play the Mets now. The Mets must have left the bed in New York. They did not take it to Milwaukee, which I am surprised about. Okay, the Phillies
want to leave it in New York instead of taking it with them to Philly as well. I'm sure.
Yeah, don't take it to Philly. The Phillies' record 95-67, 54 wins to 27 losses on the at home, 41-40 on the road. This is going to be good for them to play at the bank, because they're clearly
better.
Better.
It's one of the best home field advantages in baseball. I don't give a whole lot of advantage to home field in baseball, because we've seen World Series where the road team won every game a couple times actually.
Yeah, a couple times recently.
Yeah, but I will say the bank is the best home field advantage, and the Phillies will take advantage. I mean, they're what's that? 20?
Excuse me.
24 games above 500 at home.
I don't think the bank is the best home field advantage. I think it is among the best home field advantages. Okay,
I don't know.
Book down.
I understand. I see what hat you're wearing, Brig, but
come on.
I still think that it might be.
I will come down from my ivory tower and whoop your butt. Okay. That is the best home field advantage ever. Okay, but the bank is pretty good too. Let's be honest. So in the second half, the Phillies were 33-33. I think you could say that this is a row stat. I don't think so. I think they were operating. I think they were just rolling. They win the games they're supposed to win. They rested a few times. It's okay. I wouldn't pay attention.
I think what that was is there were some major problems through August. Everybody slumped at the exact same time.
Yes.
And they've sorted it out. I would not be worried at all if I'm a Phillies fan. Not even a little bit.
Just throw that out.
Yep.
Now, their WRC plus 105. That's pretty good. That puts them up a little bit above the Brewers, but it does not.
Yeah, a little above average. But it's
the Mets are 1 point higher.
they had major slumps, and it's going to knock that number down. So I think that's where that comes in.
Yeah, it is. 49 stolen bases. It's interesting. Not a lot of stolen bases across the season through these teams in the.
So I pointed that out to Jason. That 49 bags in the second half, and he was saying I think it was Trey Turner was out for a little while, and he's the one who's going to be stealing most of the bases.
He also said he's worried about Kyle Schwarber trying to steal a base every time. He's like, Kyle
Schwarber in his speed shoes.
Yeah, his speed shoes. It's the water. He's got to have some of the water.
He doesn't need water.
That's probably what will do it. Okay, the team's ERA. The Phillies have a 4.49 ERA. That's on the high side of what we've seen in teams this season. Their WHIP is 1.36. Home runs per nine, 1.38. Ks per nine, 8.62. That's pretty good. They walk just under 3 teams, and their batting average against 263.
Under 3 per 9. Is that?
Yeah. Sorry, so
Anyway.
2, I'm in under 3.
So this is the side that that I would be concerned about if I'm a Phillies fan, is the pitching side, because it's not what it was in the first half. It was dominant and really, really, really good, really strong in the first half. But second half, just it wasn't quite there. Like, under 3 Ks per, or under 3 walks per 9, that's a good number. 8.5 Ks per 9, that's a good number. But that 4.49 ERA, that's my concern. That's my concern, really.
I agree. Yeah. And I think that is an accurate representation. I don't think we can play that off under any sort of circumstantial or like, they lost this guy for a while or whatever. Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's who they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's move on to the Mets real quick, and then we'll get into the TV schedule for the next week. So the Mets had played to an 89-73 record, 46-35 at home, 43-38 on the road, 47-46 against teams over 500. That was my big concern with them, but I feel like I don't know. They seem to have figured something out. The magic of the grimace, I guess. I don't know.
The grimace.
40-27, a run differential plus 71. I don't know. The Mets seem to have figured something out. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
See, you think they figured something out. I think they pulled it together just in time. And I mean, just in time, I mean like the 9th inning in Milwaukee. I don't think they figured anything out. I think that they squeaked their way through this wild card series. I think they're about to get hammered against the Phillies.
Most likely.
That's what I think.
I don't think
we can. I don't think the magic is. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but from this ivory tower, it doesn't look good from here. Of course, there are all the ants running around.
Here's the thing, though, is the pitching is good, and watching this series, especially watching the way that the Brewers sent their pitchers out over this weekend, is the Mets had the edge on the pitching side. They looked better.
Yeah.
Just watching inning to inning, the Mets pitching looked better than the Brewers pitching did. And that's going to be a huge difference, is that if the Mets continue to pitch the way that they have been against the Phillies, maybe they won't get hammered and run out of the stadium.
You're right. Because on paper, the Mets have superior performance on the mound. They just do.
Since the All-Star break, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the offensive stuff. It's the offensive stuff. It'll be interesting to see. Can the Mets produce offensively
at best
when they need to? I know. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the TV schedule for the next week for the division series. So Saturday, everybody's playing. You got the Tigers at the Guardians, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That game is going to be on TBS. And then you've got the Mets at the Phillies at 4 p.m. on Fox. And then the Royals at the Yankees at 6:30 p.m. on TBS. And the Padres at the Dodgers is your primetime game at 8:30 p.m. on FS1.
Prime time if it's no. Prime time is when the Yankees play in the Boogie Down. Okay. It's must
on TBS though. On TBS though. Why are they putting these games on prime cable?
I have no idea. You can get it on Max as well if you want to, I found out, but that's stupid.
Yeah. You got to have your Max subscription.
Sunday.
Tell us about Sunday.
NLDS Game 2, Mets Phillies in Philly, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. Game 2 of the second game of the NLDS, featuring San Diego in Chavez Ravine against the Dodgers, will be 8 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. Again, that's on Sunday.
And then Monday, we're getting back over to the American League with Game 2 between the Tigers and Guardians, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, I said a bad word. Between the Tigers and Cleveland's Baseball Club. 4 p.m. Eastern on TBS, Max, True TV. And same thing with Kansas City at New York, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, TBS, True TV, and Max as well.
Yep. Tuesday, games will resume on Tuesday. LA will have moved over to Petco. San Diego, that'll be game 3. Fox and FS1 or FS1 will pick it up. We don't know what time those will be. Phillies will be in New York playing the Mets for their 3rd game, and that will be either Fox or FS1 as well. Don't know the time.
I'm going to double check that because I want to see if. Yeah, no times yet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is odd.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, we got game 3 between the Yankees and Royals, again on TBS. And then Cleveland's Baseball Club will be at Detroit for game 3 on TBS. And then you got the Yankees and the Padres, game 4, and the Phillies and the Mets, game 4 as well.
Mm-hmm. Those are if necessaries. And then if necessary, the game 4s will be on Thursday on the American League side of the house. Will be Yankees in Kansas City, and then Cleveland's Baseball Club will face Detroit in Motown, if necessary, on Thursday for game 4.
I have a feeling all of those game 4s are going to be necessary, at the very least, game 4s.
4 at least. I agree with you. Would you look at that? We never agree.
All right, go through your picks real quick, Brig.
Okay. So I'm already out. My bracket's already busted. Okay, don't worry about that.
Mine too.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to lay out what I thought was going to happen because I have it from the beginning. Okay, I thought for sure that Houston would roll through Detroit. I thought maybe it would take 3 games, but I didn't think they would lose. So then I had Cleveland beating Detroit or Houston. So now I have Cleveland's Baseball Club. Well, should we say what I think now, or should I go back to my original?
Go with now. Go with now.
Go with now. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I think Cleveland's in trouble now. I think Detroit is on a mission. Okay. All right. So that means that Kansas City whooped Baltimore, called that one. Kansas City's going to get whooped in the boogie down by New York. They're going to advance. They're going to play Detroit in the championship series. That's what's going to happen. Okay. New York will eventually win that series against Detroit. They will advance to the World Series. Okay. Now, the Mets, I picked Milwaukee to beat the Mets originally, but now that the Mets have played, I think Philly's going to clobber the Mets. I think the Phillies will advance to the championship series. I called Atlanta losing to San Diego. They advance to face LA. San Diego clobbers LA or ekes it out. I don't really care how. They advance to the championship series to play Philly. Philly loses to San Diego. San Diego and New York have a World Series. The Yankees come out on top.
Should have seen that one coming.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, I want to redo my predictions just real quick. We'll get out of here in a couple minutes.
Yep.
Okay, I have Detroit over Cleveland. I think you're right. I think Cleveland's in trouble. I like Philly over the Mets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yankees over Kansas City. No, you just can't beat the Yankees, that anemic offense. And actually, I'm agree with you on San Diego too. I think they beat the Dodgers. So then I'm going to stick with the Padres beating the Phillies because that's what I had before.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had Baltimore beating the Yankees. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to have to go with the in the championship series.
That's Tigers Yankees.
Yeah. I need to go against you on this, so I'll just go Tigers. I don't know that I believe that. But I'm going to stick with the Padres as my World Series pick. I have the Padres winning in 6.
Yeah.
Right here.
Boom.
I got it written down.
Shakalaka. They're going to lose in 6. That's the only thing I change. Love you. It's not going to happen. They're going to lose in 6.
Baseball family, thanks for joining us. We're going to get out of here real quick. But before we do, let us remind you real quick about social media. You know it. Follow us everywhere you are. We are any platform that you're on, Instagram, TikTok. We're on X a little bit, Facebook. We got a group there and everything. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. We're also doing a giveaway on Instagram. So head over to the Baseball Together Instagram page and see how you can enter to win a signed copy of Season of Shattered Dreams. Fascinating book about the Spokane Indians bus crash. So
yeah, if you don't know, you need to know. It's incredible.
Absolutely. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next week.